What if the most powerful evidence in hip-hop isn't public, but locked away on a tape nobody's allowed to see? And what if the real story isn't who's being exposed, but who isn't being mentioned at all? When 50 Cent's documentary about Diddy exploded across headlines, it felt like the industry was finally cracking open. Allegations, lawsuits, whispered stories about parties and power, everything was suddenly front and center. But viewers noticed something strange. A name that shared rooms, stages, and decades of influence with Diddy was barely discussed. Jay-Z. Not deeply analyzed. Not directly examined. Just absent. And that silence might be louder than anything said on camera.
Last question. I asked you to do this earlier, but I just want you to do it even more, go detailed. What do you predict will happen next in the future? You know, it's like you see it before it happens.
Kathy White's true killer is going to be unveiled, and it's not a man, and that woman died screaming.
Now here's the part people miss. Jaguar Wright had been speaking out long before these investigations became mainstream. Years ago, she alleged the industry was built on leverage, secrets, and recordings used to control careers. Recently, she doubled down, claiming Diddy allegedly possesses tapes that could damage some of the biggest names in music, including Jay-Z. She has not presented proof publicly, and none of this has been proven in court. But she continues to stand by her claims. And that's where it gets messy.
Has anyone ever heard of Kathy White, Jay-Z's alleged mistress? Yes, let's talk about it. Miss Kathy White was a fitness and beauty expert, baby. She graduated from Howard University and she was the CEO of her own PR company. Now, she was rumored to be Jay-Z's mistress because one night in Las Vegas at Tao nightclub, she was seen with model Claudia Jordan sitting at Jay-Z's table with P. Diddy. It was rumored that the whole entourage was there to see a boxing match, but Beyonce was not in attendance, sweetheart. Just Claudia and Kathy.
But the tapes aren't the only shadow hanging over this. To understand why these allegations gained traction online, you have to rewind to 2011. Kathy White wasn't a random internet rumor. She was reportedly educated, connected, and working in PR. Photos surfaced of her sitting at Jay-Z's table in Las Vegas. Blogs ignited. Comment sections spiraled. Some outlets reported she was considering speaking publicly about an alleged relationship. Those reports remain disputed. Days later, she aired at 28. Early details about her passing reportedly shifted, and online users questioned inconsistencies. No official ruling ever confirmed foul play. Still, the timing fueled speculation.
Kathy White's life was taken unfairly. She actually died screaming. And the Carters are responsible. But one of them is just a little more responsible than the other. Question is, did Sean Carter delete his mistress, his pregnant mistress, because his wife was jealous? Or could it be possible that maybe his wife's temper is just a little worse than most people think? And maybe he just had to clean it up to protect the brand's sake.
And that's where speculation turns darker. Around that same period, Beyoncé revealed her pregnancy at the MTV VMAs in a now iconic moment. The world celebrated. But online forums began connecting dots, suggesting the announcement conveniently shifted headlines. Others pushed a surrogate theory based on a viral interview clip. To be clear, there is no confirmed evidence supporting those claims. They remain internet theories. But once narratives take hold online, they don't disappear easily.
Will Diddy start snitching?
He better. But the only thing I'm interested in him talking about is everything he knows about Kathy Coriana White. See, I know you know what happened to Corey, Diddy. I know that. You and Jay-Z down in Vegas at Tao with Claudia. Why don't you just talk about Kathy? That might help. That might help a lot. Kathy Coriana White, Jay-Z's pregnant mistress, who died 24 hours after she announced that she was going public with their relationship and the baby.
But while the internet debated that, something else was unfolding. Jaguar Wright appeared in multiple interviews repeating her allegations about tapes, leverage, hidden recordings at private gatherings. She claimed powerful figures protect themselves through NDAs and silence. Again, these are her allegations, not court-proven facts. Yet one high-profile interview reportedly vanished shortly after airing, clips removed within a day. Whether due to legal pressure, policy decisions, or other reasons remains unclear. Still, the disappearance only amplified curiosity. And then comes the question no one wants to ask.
Documentary.
Not at
He
all.
was there for so much of it. Because right after the Diddler beat the crap out of Steve Stout, the Jigga Man poked up on Rivera. Not long after that. All of this stuff happened around the same time.
Why do you think Jay-Z wasn't involved in none of this?
Well, I mean, he was involved in a lot of it. You mean why wasn't he mentioned?
Yeah, mentioned in the documentary at all.
I mean, there was a lot of people that weren't mentioned. Matter of fact, not too many people in the industry were mentioned who were there and present. Isn't that cute?
Very true.
They found a way to tell that story while they kept everybody else clean.
If leverage exists in the form of recordings, who controls the narrative when scandals erupt? Jaguar has suggested this is less about chaos and more about positioning. In her view, when one mogul falls, another gains ground. Business rivalries in entertainment are real. Empires shift. Allegiances change. None of that confirms criminal wrongdoing, but it does show how power can reshape public focus almost overnight.
What are your thoughts as far as how they portrayed Kim Porter with this Reckoning documentary?
They didn't portray her at all.
Yeah, they didn't.
That's the thing. They didn't portray her at all. She was spoken for by Kalima. That was interesting to watch. You don't think? Kalima's testimony? She was probably the most pitiful witness they brought up to speak about all of this in the entire thing. Kalima?
Wait, why you say that? She was emotional. She was
Emotional? That's what you call it?
that's what I'm trying to call it.
Capricorn Clark was emotional. I'll give her emotion. I'm sitting there looking at someone, in my opinion, who appears to be struggling with a substance issue, trying not to fall apart on camera. Meanwhile, nobody paying attention to the fact that she's sitting there afraid to really say anything at all because she's in the middle of a custody battle and she's trying to get her kids back. And she's got to be careful of whatever she says because it could make it impossible for her to get her kids back. Did nobody pay attention to that?
Yeah, no, she said she wanted $5K from Diddy. And
she wanted $5K from her former bandmate and a billionaire. And he wouldn't even give her $5K to help her get her kids back? Why not? But then again, nobody's talking about who her husband is and who her husband is to Diddy. He's one of Diddy's #1 minions.
oh yeah, no, that's news.
He's a loyalist. He is a Diddy doo-wop-bop. Kalina's also bisexual, so I'm finding it kind of interesting that she didn't see anything, she wasn't around anything, she didn't know about anything, and this is not me putting anything crazy on her. This is exactly what she said when she was on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta with Stevie J, who was also not mentioned at all during this documentary. Because Stevie J was living at the Star Island house. Tell me something, how do you have all of that stuff about Little Rod and there's no Stevie J? Now, it was really interesting because there was some of the footage that Little Rod has shared with this documentary that he shared with nobody else that he did an interview with, and none of that made it into the trial. There's images of him with French Montana and the Diddler on the yacht.
Yeah.
But nothing of Stevie J, surgically removed.
So now we're staring at 3 puzzle pieces. Alleged tapes that supposedly hold leverage. A documentary that left out a major name. And a mysterious death that still sparks online debate. None of it proves guilt. None of it confirms conspiracy. Everything discussed remains alleged, reported, or disputed. But here's the part people can't ignore. Silence keeps repeating itself.
The sex workers that I have worked with throughout the years and continue to work with even to this day have worn hidden cameras. I have my own tapes. I've seen what they do, the ritualistic behaviors, the drugging, putting girls in the suitcases, dumping them in alleyways. It's horrifying. And it's all done under the protection of this is going to be paid off. There's another NDA. This is going to be, it's terrible.
It seems to have been something that a lot of people knew about, but people were simply too scared to talk about.
Everyone knows. And every person that's sitting there trying to act surprised knows very well.
If tapes like that truly exist, why haven't they surfaced? And if they don't, why does the rumor refuse to de? Is this a case of internet mythology growing louder than facts? Or is there something powerful enough behind the scenes to keep everyone careful? Because scandals make noise. But control? That moves quietly. So what do you think? Coincidence, calculated strategy, or just rumors spiraling out of control?
Who's next?
Y'all don't see the lineup?
Yeah, we see the lineup. I'm just waiting to see who's next.
Jay-Z is setting Diddy up. Why is everyone having such a hard time? He ain't doing different. He lined up D. Haven, stole his life and identity. He lined up Big L, stole his life and identity. He lined up Dame Dash, stole his life, identity, and took his love. Want to know why there is no vindication for me? Because for 4 years, I've been screaming, not just Diddy, but Diddy and Jay-Z are monsters. And the victim-making machine kept going on.
Jay-Z has been notable by his silence since these charges were brought against Diddy. Why do you think that is?
Because that's what he does. He starts little fires everywhere, forces everyone involved to go and carry water while he sneaks away without a response. That changes now, Sean.
He said it's trying to take down Diddy.
No, he's trying to move Diddy and Jay-Z out the way so he can run it. And the truth is, I ain't mad at him. I just don't trust him. Because the truth is, he would just be another kind of monster in another kind of way. He don't want things to change. He just want to be the one that's running it. See? Easiest thing to do is to take your enemy's feet and hold them to the fire for things you know that they won't admit. Which is why when that C&D came out, he took all of that Diddy shit down because of his tape.